Roll Tide and welcome back to our podcast studio at the Advantage Center inside Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by Jamison Sears of Alabama Gymnastics, now getting ready for her sophomore year. And Jamison, Roll Tide, it's good to see you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're definitely really looking forward to the start on Friday night of Alabama Gymnastics season 2025. Just what can you tell us about the weeks of preparation getting ready for Friday against UNC?
The weeks have been long. We've been here. We started preseason in August. We're finally wrapping it up, starting the 10th against UNC. We're really excited, and I feel like these girls have worked really hard, and I'm really excited to watch them do their thing on Friday.
Is it hard to have patience in the fall, knowing that you have all these practices, but it's still not until January you get the Friday night lights?
I think it's very hard, especially like when you're seeing like all your other friends on other teams, and you're just like, oh, this is what we're up against. Like, what are they doing? And it's just like you don't really know what everyone else actually has got going on. It's just like you guys in the gym, and you're just working towards a goal that doesn't end until April.
Let's talk first of all about this Alabama Gymnastics team. What's the personality of this group so far?
I would say it's very fun and lighthearted, but these girls they're ready to work. They're ready for it.
That's certainly good. Who have you seen kind of emerge as leaders so far on this team?
We don't really have leaders on the team. We make it so everyone has a voice on the team, so everyone is a leader. Everyone can speak up at any given time that they feel like it.
That's really good to see. And for you, what has been your focus in the gym getting ready for Friday night?
My focus in the gym has definitely been just being there when I can and just doing the best I can to push myself and my teammates to be the best version of ourselves.
What routines, what apparatus could we see you on?
Ooh, I'm not really sure if you guys are going to see me on Friday, but I will definitely be on the sidelines cheering my teammates on.
That's good. What have been the events you've been working on?
Definitely floor. Floor is a big one out there for me. So, yeah.
What do you like about your floor exercise routine?
I love to have a dance party, no matter if that's on the floor, on the sidelines, in my room. It doesn't matter where it is. I'm going to dance. So I definitely love dancing on floor and giving everyone a performance.
Do you like getting to pick getting to work with your coach on choreography more, or do you like the music selection more when you're getting ready for floor exercise?
I definitely love like having my input on like the actual dance in the routine, but I really do love picking out the songs.
Anything we should be ready for when you do hit the floor this year?
Carnival by Kanye West.
Okay. Why was it important to include that?
I did a little teaser last year. I posted a picture on Instagram. It was like me with fire behind me to the song Carnival, and now it's my floor music this year.
That's certainly good. So we look forward to seeing that when you perform for the Crimson Tide to start your sophomore year.
Yes.
But let's back it all the way up now to when you first got into gymnastics. First of all, how'd you get in this sport?
My older sister actually did gymnastics, and I was like 18 months, and my mom was holding me, and my head coach at the time was like, yeah, you need to put her in gymnastics. And my mom was like, she's a child. What do you mean? You can't even tell. She's like, no, I can tell that she's going to do some big things. And that's just kind of how it all started.
18 months.
Yep. That's when I started.
That's pretty good. And then was your sister along in gymnastics as well for all the time you were getting trained?
Yeah, she did gymnastics. We did it like kind of side by side for most of my career. She was like a couple years older than me. She quit when she was 16, and I continued doing it. So, yeah.
What kind of role model was she?
She was just someone that like was going through it with me. Like no one else in my family has ever done gymnastics. So it was just like easy to talk to her about things, and like she would understand what I was going through. So it was just fun to have like your sister and your best friend and role model all in the same person.
And when you started doing gymnastics, where did you start having success? What were some of the events that got you going?
I think my success started on floor. That was the only event I ever wanted to train when I was little. I would go to bars and beam, and I'll just sit there and be like, guys, I don't want to do it. And my coach would be like, you have to. And it's like, no, I kind of just want to do floor. And she was like, you can't do floor unless you do all the other events. So I was like, okay, I'll do everything else then. So that's where I noticed that.
When did you start to see your skills kind of take off to the next level to where you're now one of the more elite gymnasts in the country?
I'd probably say it was around like my freshman or sophomore year of high school is when I was like, okay, I can do this for real. Like, I can go to college for this. And so I was like, let's try it, see what happens. And then I ended up here.
Who do you think were some key coaches that helped you get to that point?
I stayed at the same gym my entire career, so I would definitely say my head coach, Tammy Harrison, was the reason that all this happened.
That's certainly good, and that led to a lot of success in high school for you, the junior Olympic level. How much fun was it getting to compete at the highest level for your age groups?
That was really amazing. Not many people can do it, and I feel like I've did it like most of my life, so it was just cool to continue doing that and keep doing it in college.
And then when you're having success at that level, you start hearing from a lot of colleges as well. Did you enjoy the recruiting process?
It was definitely cool, like, oh, you're getting recruited by colleges, but I think just like everybody else, it's stressful because it's the next 4 years of your life and you don't really know what's going to happen. But I was really excited when I ended up picking Alabama.
Yeah, when did Alabama start to factor into things?
I think that was like around my freshman year. I had actually met an alum, Makari Doggett, at a competition, and I told my mom that if I was going to do college gymnastics, I wanted nothing more than to be her teammate and compete for a title with her.
How special was it then, fast forwarding a bit, but just sticking with Makari Doggett, to get to be her teammate, see the way she impacted this group last year?
It was amazing. I couldn't have asked for anything else. She's one of the best people I could have asked for in my life to go along this journey with.
That's really special. You get to compete with her here at Alabama. What do you remember about getting to know Coach Johnston and hear about her vision for this program for the first time?
So I had actually met Ashley a long time ago when I was in the elite process. She would have other girls at like the camps that I would go to, and she would also judge. So I had been pretty familiar with her, and when I had heard that she was a coach, I was like, oh yeah, like let's do it. I already know her. Nothing new. So.
Did you get to come here for an on-campus visit and kind of get to see everything?
Yeah, well, I came on an official in 22, and I'd committed under the old head coach Dana, and then when the coaching changed, I was like, I'm just going to wait and see who it is, and it was Ashley, and I was like, oh yeah, no doubt about it, I'm not leaving.
So that made it a pretty easy decision at that point. That's good. Had you been to Alabama much before? And kind of what did you learn about Alabama gymnastics before?
I had never spoken to Alabama until the recruiting process. I had never spoken to any school, really. I was just kind of like, I don't know, I'm going to go somewhere, I hope. And, yeah, so I came here 22. It was when the girls had just won SEC, so it was a big game. It was against Ole Miss. They got their rings, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be a part of this. This is what I want to do.
Did you like the football atmosphere in the game day
Yeah,
here?
I mean, it was pretty cool. You know, we have a decent, really good football team. But, yeah.
Is that part of the fun process now, being a student athlete, getting to enjoy those football game days with your teammates?
Oh, yeah, those days are the best. It's normally we have practice on Saturdays, so, like, we'll go do lifts and have a little practice and then just kind of, like, go have fun at a football game.
That's really cool to see. So you make that decision to come to the University of Alabama. Last year was your freshman campaign. What did you first of all just like about being a student athlete here and learning about the transition to college gymnastics?
Yeah, it's not really much different than like what you do at home. Most of us grew up like doing homeschool or just like going to school and then practice, and that's what you do here. My favorite part about it was definitely the support that we had from like all ends, from academics to nutrition and like your coaches. It was just like a really big it was really big, like, the way that they helped us and get through the season.
And it allowed you to get some opportunities to be out there for the Crimson Tide, even was the SEC Coach Specialist of the Week after a quad meet. What led to success that night?
I think just being confident in myself. Like, I was just doing what I could do, and it was probably one of my best vaults over the season, and yeah.
What do you like about vault?
Vault's not really one of my favorite events, but when I come off the table, it just feels like I'm flying, and who doesn't love flying, am I right? I feel like Superman.
What's your skill set typically on vault?
I normally, like all of last year, I competed a Yurchenko full, and it was the same thing every weekend.
That's really good to see. And, of course, you had some success during the season a year ago, and then Alabama just kept building as time went on, it seemed like. Let's talk about the Georgia night. How special was that, especially with your love of floor exercise, the way Alabama posted its best score ever on floor?
Georgia was actually really special. A girl that I grew up with and was teammates for my entire career goes to Georgia, so it was our first, like, cute little rival meet with my best friend. And obviously the Georgia-Alabama rivalry is huge. So it was just really cool, and I think we just kept feeding off the energy, like, let's do it big if we're going to do it. Like, we got to beat Georgia. Like, you can't lose to Georgia, guys, ever. So yeah, I think we just kept building off of each other, and everything just kept getting bigger and better, and that's how we did it.
Yeah, great night that night in Tuscaloosa. Then you get ready for the SEC Championships. Alabama finishes second at that event. Yeah. What was the mindset of the group? What made that such a special night?
We just wanted to be us and, like, do what we could do. We didn't want to go too big or too small. We didn't want to change anything, just stay consistent. And, I mean, unfortunately we didn't win, but I feel like that was still a really great step in the right direction for us.
It certainly was, and then NCAA Championships as well, regionals and then championships. Yeah. Special few weeks.
Yeah, it was a really amazing time for me. First year, I was like, yeah, guys, like, this is fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then, I mean, your first year, and here you are on the biggest stage there is. I mean, that had to be fun.
Yeah. I was like, guys, I never in a million years thought I would be here year one, but here we are. Let's do it.
Here you are. And then for a couple of your teammates, we talk about the SECs, the NCAAs being a huge stage, but there's no bigger stage than the Olympics.
Yes.
And you get to watch two of your teammates perform, Shalyn Olson, Luisa Blanco. How special is that?
That was really cool. I grew up doing the elite world, so I knew the Olympic route and everything, so I know how hard it is and how dedicated you have to be. But having Lou, I never competed with Shalyn, unfortunately, but having Lou as a role model and just being able to watch her do her thing and represent her country was absolutely amazing. I feel like that was a dream come true for her, and it was a dream come true for me to grow up beside her and watch her do something so big and amazing.
It really was pretty special. And do you feel like there's more interest now in gymnastics as we get ready for this year because of the Olympics or just because of all the attention?
I feel like there's a lot of girls in NCAA that are doing things like that, and I feel like it's really helpful to bring attention to our sport.
How much have you enjoyed the student-athlete process? So what's your major? What's your focus in school?
My major is sports management. I want to work with gymnastics one day or hopefully football. Shout out the Dallas Cowboys. That's my favorite team, so if you guys ever want to work with me, that would be lovely. But, yeah.
What do you want to do for the Cowboys?
I don't know. I've just been a Cowboys fan my entire life, so anything like that would be really cool.
I'm sure there are some fans that would love to get involved, be the GM, make some trades, anything like that, right?
Yeah, I'd be down for anything, guys.
That certainly is good to see. Again, it's a special time by getting gymnastics season started. If there are fans out there who maybe are just mostly football, basketball fans, they haven't been to Coleman for a Friday Night Heights experience, what would you tell them about why they should come?
I would tell you that football isn't forever, and during their off season, you could always enjoy something at Alabama. I feel like we have lots of fun out there. We're very personal people, so just come talk to us, and we'll have a grand old time.
Certainly could. Have you made some good friendships with student athletes from other sports across campus?
Yeah, I think some of my roommate this past year was actually not a gymnast. She was a soccer player, and I love her to death. So that was really cool.
Have you met Mark Sears? You share the same last name?
Yes, we are not related in any sort of way. But when I first got to campus, it was crazy. Someone asked me about my cousin that went here, and I was like, I don't think I have a cousin here. They're like, no, he plays basketball. I was like, no, he doesn't. I don't think so. They showed me. I was like, oh, I've never met that man in my life, but he seems cool. So I've met him a couple times. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, pretty good basketball player, right?
Yeah.
That's certainly good.
Pretty good.
What else should fans know about you?
My favorite color is pink. My nickname is J Money, and that's, I think, the only thing, other than the announcers, that's the only thing you'll hear on Fridays is J Money. I don't think anyone calls me Jamison on a Friday.
Okay, so J Money. I'm going to remember
that.
That's good. And then also being a student athlete in this day and age, you get some NIL opportunities. How much have you enjoyed that?
That is really helpful. It's really cool. And I don't know. I mean, who doesn't want to get paid? Am I right? But yeah, I think it's just cool to help broadcast yourself and just do other things for the community and things like that.
You enjoy getting to involve your fans with social media and different things like that, kind of take them behind the scenes of what you all do?
Yeah, I like to think of myself as a very personal person, so I love meeting just everybody, and it's really cool to just have people who support me that want to get to know me outside of the gymnastics that I do.
Well, that's really good. Well, Jamison Sears, J Money, I should say, just thank you so much for the time you've given us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. And best of luck coming up this week and everything coming up this season. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.